Shalom. I'd like to start off by saying I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, whom I worship. Double honors to my elder apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this word in sincerity and in truth, who rule well and are still on the highways and byways, pushing this word to the very end, so that they may receive their crowns of salvation. Salutation to the hopeful elect throughout the world that are doing the same, that you may receive your crowns of salvation. Also, salutations, peace, and blessings to the rest of the elect of Yasharallah out there, bearing witness to the prophets and teachers out there on the streets, pushing this word and are helping out whichever way they can. May the Lord bless you and yours and grant you salvation. So this is this been on my mind all day. They were supposed to launch a SpaceX shuttle today. All right, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, right? And I believe with 2 astronauts on board. They weren't successful because due to weather, they said. All right. So this was on my mind all day because I was like, why, as we know, right? We know the prophecy. We know about Esau. We know the prophecy about Esau, heading up to the heavens, to setting his nest amongst the stars, right? Space stations or what have you. We know that the moon landing was a hoax, but they have made it to, and they haven't even made it to outer space yet. And I'm talking about outer space. There's different layers to Earth's atmosphere, right? So they had to abandon their mission today, and I guess they're leaving it for Saturday, which I'm going to read on. And I'm going to read a little bit into the article. As always, I'm gonna leave the link to the article so that you can read it for yourself. And also, like I always say, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button to help push this word, okay? And hopefully this lesson is edifying. So, yeah, so this is Esau, right? Still at it, and they're hell bent on these space missions, man. And the reason why is because they're trying to leave Earth. That the elites are setting this up. All right. And I believe, if I'm correct, it's SpaceX was created by Elon Musk. Let me double check myself. So what is SpaceX, right? This is SpaceX. Looked it up on Wikipedia. All right, and it reads: Space Exploration Technologies Corp., trading as SpaceX, is a private American aerospace manufacturer and space transportation services company headquartered in Hawthorne, California. It was founded in 2002 by Elon Musk with the goal of reducing space transportation costs to enable the colonization of Mars. SpaceX has developed several launch vehicles and the Dragon spacecraft, and that's what I wanted to get into, right? Why they name it the Dragon, right? That spacecraft, the Dragon. Well, it's simple. It ties in with Esau, Edom, man. That's one of his symbols, the dragon. Okay? giant serpent. That's the same dragon or serpent that was in the garden, man. That was more subtle than any beast in the field. That's Esau, Edom. All right. He deceived Adam. He deceived Eve, and Eve fell for it, and then deceived Adam, right? Tricked them into accepting his wayward philosophies and stuff that led to death, that brought death into the world, right? So today they were supposed to launch the SpaceX Dragon with 2 astronauts on board. It didn't go down. It didn't happen. They said because of weather conditions. So I'm gonna read that article that I had, and then and of course you already know, bring out some scriptures. So the title of the article is SpaceX launch canceled due to bad weather, only minutes before planned takeoff. You see here it says NASA astronaut Douglas Hurley steps into a Tesla X before launch of SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket and Crew Dragon spacecraft at the Kennedy Space Center. The planned NASA/SpaceX launch out of Kennedy Space Center in Florida to the International Space Station was nixed on Wednesday due to bad weather. Thunderstorms and cloudy skies threatened the effort going into Wednesday, and with conditions not clearing less than a half hour before the planned launch, the mission was axed. The attempt launch was the first time since the retirement of the space shuttles in July of 2011 that NASA, and that's another thing, why would they retire the space shuttles from going out to outer space if they so-called landed on the moon? If they had landed on the moon, wouldn't Esau want, after all these years, want to go back on the moon and start building things on the moon? By now it should have been perfected, right? Showing you that it's all bullshit, you know. It was all a hoax. It was all a lie. Now they went as far as to build their space station, yeah, you know, and put their satellites up, but they haven't passed that, with something called the Van Allen belt, or the Van Halen belt, something like that, which is a belt of just pure radiation, you know. They haven't gone that far. There's different, like I said, there's different levels to the Earth's atmosphere, man, and that last level is pure radiation, pure heat, you know, and they haven't passed that yet. They haven't gone beyond that. So Esau is just, hey, that's why they call it the dragon. The dragon was a liar, right? The serpent, right, was a liar. So that's what they are. They lie about every goddamn thing. You can't believe a word they say. So it reads, the attempt launch was the first time since the retirement of the space shuttles in July of 2011 that NASA astronauts were meant to take a rocket from American soil with the intention of reaching International Space Station. Despite NASA Despite NASA astronauts crewing the rocket, SpaceX, which built the Falcon 9 rocket carrying its Crew Dragon capsule, which holds the crew, were in charge of mission control. SpaceX founder Elon Musk said shortly before the launch that his goal is to reignite the dream of space after a years-long drought for Americans. Musk took complete responsibility for anything going wrong with the launch. And you know, Elon Musk, of course, is juiced in. You know, he's a bought and paid for. You know what I'm saying? For the elites to allow him to do this, so that he could get this together, and at the end, before the missiles hit, he could have a whole bunch of these Dragon SpaceX shuttles ready for them to bring them up into the International Space Station. All right, so that way their intention is to come back down and to how would you say, continue their dominion, so to speak. But that's not going to happen, because they know the prophecy, man, that they are the Edomites, and this is their world that's coming to an end. That Jacob is going to rule right after, man. The kingdom of heaven is going to be here on earth, and the Israelites are going to rule, right? Who are the Israelites? The so-called Negroes, West Indians, Puerto Ricans, right? So-called West Indians and so-called North American Indians, so-called Seminole Indians, scattered throughout North, Central, South America, and throughout the world, man. The whole world's coming to, is waking up to who the people of the Most High are, and they're also waking up, or they've been woken up to knowing who the children of the devil is, right? But they're waking up by way of the prophets and teachers of Israel out on the highways and byways. They're waking up to that name, man. Esau, Edom. You know? It's becoming a staple name for the so-called white man, right? It says, it says Musk took complete responsibility for anything going wrong with the launch, which was viewed by President Trump, Donald Trump, despite teaming up with NASA for the mission. I'd just like to say, if it goes right, it's credit to the SpaceX NASA team. If it goes wrong, it's my fault, he told CBS News the day before the launch. So I'm gonna leave the link, like I said. There it goes right there. I'm sorry, that's a different there's not much left to the article. Let me just read on. It says NASA astronauts and former military test pilots Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley crewed the spacecraft. Behnken and Hurley were meant to spend 1 to 4 months in orbit, depending on how equipment performs after docking with the International Space Station. The next attempt to launch the SpaceX rocket will take place on Saturday, with takeoff set for 3:22 p.m. Eastern Time. Wait a minute, 3:22? Isn't the number 322 a Freemasonry number? Give me a second. And here's an order from the Freemasons known as the Skull and Bones, which George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr. were a part of. What's my man's name? Kerry, forgot his name. Senator, forgot his name. Couple of a lot of politicians were a part of the Skull and Bones, which is based at Yale in New Haven, Connecticut, which the apostles and elders went out there, did lessons out there. Yeah, so that number 322 is definitely a Masonic and Satanic number, and it's the order the order of 322. I'm gonna read a little bit of this. Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones. The order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death. Now that don't sound too Christian to me, right? How is it that this society is in America, and which the majority of the presidents of these United States were all Freemasons, or are all Freemasons, man? Nothing to do with Christianity whatsoever. And America's supposed to be a Christian, so-called Christian kingdom. You know, so what's up with that? Why is a satanic order? What is a satanic order doing in a Christian land, right? Because, man, since the beginning of America, it's been set up to be all about the set upon witchcraft, you know. It reads, Skull and Bones, the order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death, is an undergraduate senior secret student society at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, the oldest senior class society at the university. Skull and Bones has become a cultural institution known for its powerful alumni and various conspiracy theories. It is one of the big three societies at Yale, the other two being Scroll and Key and the Wolf's Head Society, which I never heard of. But these societies are breeding grounds at Yale University for the Illuminati, man. And out of these groups, out of these societies, they pick who they want to set up as, you know, the world leaders or politicians or what have you. But 322, as you can see here, Skull and Bones, right? The skull with the crossbones and the number 322 at the bottom of it, man. So what happened was, they were gonna launch today, and they probably had clear skies, man, or maybe it was cloudy, whatever. But they probably got a call and said, "No, look, man, we're gonna do this Saturday for some strange reason. Definitely has to be, you know, an occultic and satanic reason, you know. Maybe the demons came down and said, no, look, don't launch this. Don't launch today. It's gonna, you know, the demons came down and said it's not gonna go down, and you know, you may lose your SpaceX Dragon shuttle along with its crew. Let's do it Saturday, you know." And then they got the call. They said, "Nah, man, you're gonna launch Saturday at 3:22." Because everything Esau does is satanic, man. All right, and based upon witchcraft. All right, so now right at 3:22 p.m. Eastern time. That's in the afternoon. So I want to get some scriptures out dealing with dealing with the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, known as, or called the Dragon. Okay, why did they call it the Dragon? Let's go to the beginning. This is the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter and the 1st verse, and it reads, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. That serpent was not an actual serpent, man, that talked. Okay, Christians like to say that, showing you that the Most High is not dealing with them, man. Okay, it's metaphorical, man. It's calling a man the characteristic of a man in the garden. All right, and that man today will be classified as the so-called white man, which his nationality is Esau, Edom in the Bible. Jacob's evil and wicked counterpart, right? It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Yeah, that's what the Most High said, man. All right. It says, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, which is real fruit, you know, that was in the garden. You know, you eat the fruit. It was nutritious, able to sustain life, right? But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, which that was dealing with philosophy. All right, the philosophy that the serpent was casting out in the garden, meaning lies, you know, religion, wickedness, anything against the Most High. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Right? Because the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Okay, it's wickedness, and it leads unto death, man. Okay, it says, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. Boom. In verse 4, the serpent straight up lied to Eve, man. And then Eve took that and brought it to Adam, and then Adam went off, man. You know, so like I said in the scripture, man, and Adam not being in the transgression, but Eve was in the transgression. The woman was in the transgression, man. You know, she was fooled by the serpent, because that's what happens. That's what Esau, Edom does. They to get to you, to get to the Jake man, he goes through their woman, man. Okay, which is also our enemy, until the Lord, you know, clean them up, you know, in the kingdom. And it says, so the serpent lied to them. Okay, it says, verse 5, for the Most High doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Right? So, and ultimately that was the Most High's plan, to cause Israel to go off, to learn what's good and what's evil, you know, so that, yeah, ultimately we be, you know, we'll be like angels, right? But he lied to them, because he said that they would not die, and eventually they did die. So that's the point, that the serpent is the damn devil. It's Esau, Edom, and they're a bunch of freaking liars, man. So now let's go to dealing with the dragon, right? Let's go to the book of Revelation, the 20th chapter, and the 1st verse, right? And it reads, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. That angel that came down from heaven, first of all, he came down in what is known as UFOs, the chariots of Israel. And that the name of that angel is Yahweh. Okay? And he came with a great chain. And guess why he had that great chain in his hand? all right, to lock up that same serpent that was in the garden, man. That damn devil, Esau, Edom, man. And he laid hold on the dragon. They called that SpaceX 9 shuttle the Dragon, right? Because that's who they are. They know who they are. All right, Elon Musk, the elites, they know that they're the Edomites, and they know who we are as well, man. All right. It says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent. Why was he called that old serpent? Meaning he goes way back to the book of Genesis, like I just read to you, the 3rd chapter. All right, and it explained why he was a serpent and a sly devil, because he lied, man. He lied to Eve, and then in return, Eve lied, gave that lie to Adam and caused him to go off, caused the man to go off, man. But the Lord created man to be upright, like the scriptures say, right? It says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, that's Esau, Edom, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him up 1,000 years. Right, that 1,000 years that Esau, Edom was bound up, that was when the dark nations, all right, more than likely happened during the Babylonian time, when they gathered up Esau, Edom, and drove them to the drove them to the mountains, okay? Drove them to the mountains, man, away from civilization, because they were foul, man. They lied, they cheated, they committed murder. They couldn't trust these damn devils. So the nations drove them, man, drove them up to the mountains, okay? And they became cave dwellers, all right? And it says, and that was for a period of 1,000 years. When he came out of that was during the time of the Greeks, really, you know, when they became a prominent ruling kingdom, empire. The Greeks, beginning with Philip of Macedon, and then Alexander the so-called Great, becoming greater than his father, and he became known as Alexander the Great. We call him Alexander the Great, and he ruled for a period of, I believe it was 12 or 13 years. All right, and his rulership was swift. After that, he died. You know, he conquered the so-called known world. There was nothing else to conquer, and then he died. He fulfilled his role down here, so to speak, right? And then they got taken down. Then, you know, there was a succession of things that occurred. You know, the Roman Empire came up after them, and now the Roman Empire is ruling till this day. All right, the last of it. All right, which is the divided kingdom of the Roman Empire amongst the EU nations, and America being in league with NATO and the EU nations, which make up the beast or the dragon, right? And cast him into the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit is known as Europe. Like we always said, the bottomless pit, we call it Europe because Europe was known for having a lack of resources, okay? And shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. So that's during the time when the dark nations ran Esau to the damn caves of the mountains of the earth, man. So that he's keeping from lying and deceiving people. Verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given. Yeah, who the thrones represent? You know, of course, the Most High, Yahweh Shai, the 12 disciples, the 70, the rest of the elect, ruling with Yahweh Shai, right? And judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast. And that's the beast, the dragon, man. Esau, Edom is that beast, right? His kingdoms You know, the conglomeration of his kingdoms, right? NATO, EU, America. Russia is not a part of that. Neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads. Right, that mark is talking about the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip and everything that entails with it, that goes with it, that comes along with it, man. Okay? Or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Yahushua 1,000 years, meaning a long time. And that's going to be in the kingdom, which we're going to rule with Yahushua forever. Okay? I'm going to stop there, and let's go to, give me a second. Let's go to Revelation, the 17th chapter, and start at the first verse. And it says, and there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. The great whore that sitteth upon many waters is America, which is also known as Babylon the Great, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Right. America tricked the nations to receive its funny money, this fiat currency, which is worthless, and it put nations in debt. It put nations in trouble, man. Okay? It sold out the nations by way of this fiat funny money, man. You know, and then there was many nations that took the United States dollar as a reserve, man, as a safety net, and then they came to find out that it was useless, man, worthless. And now a lot of nations are just Russia kicked it up. They're not dealing with the U.S. They call it the petrodollar. Other nations, they're not dealing with the petrodollar. They attacked, the U.S. attacked countries because they wanted to get rid of the petrodollar. Gaddafi of Libya, they killed him because he wanted to deal with his own. I believe he wanted to go back to gold, you know, and create his own money system. They killed him. Saddam Hussein, he wanted to deal with his own, I believe, gold also, or silver, and they killed him. All right, and they toppled many governments that tried to leave the dollar after they took it, and they killed them. So you see, you can't make no deals with the devil, because once you forfeit that deal, they're gonna kill you, destroy you. All right. But now all the nations came to one realization that that America and the people who control it, that rule it, are the devil, man. And it reads, verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. That woman represents America. She was a whore, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Right, that's that beast. It's that dragon, man. It had 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold, precious stones, and pearls, having a gold. She looked fine as hell. The other Apostle Hart says that a lot. That, you know, St. John the Apostle, when he saw that, man, he's like, oh man, that woman looked bad as hell, man, fine as hell, man. She was all decked up, looking real good, looking like a Edomite, sexy ass Edomite woman, so that you can understand. Having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. That's America. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. That, when you break that down in the Hebrew, and each Hebrew character has a numerical value to it, it breaks down to 666, okay? Or 666. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Right, he wondered with great admiration because the woman was fine as hell. You know, and he was like, damn, that woman fine as hell. You know how you see a fine ass woman, man, you can't get her out your mind? that's how St. John, all right, saw this woman. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman. The woman is America. And of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. That beast is that same dragon, okay, that I read about in Revelation, the 20th chapter. It's the reason why Elon Musk named that SpaceX Falcon 9 shuttle the Dragon, man, because they know who they are, okay, and they ain't nowadays, they ain't trying to hide it neither, man, okay. It says the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. It's talking about America. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. Just know that I was just dealing with the dragon, and that and the dragon represents the Esau, Edom, okay. And so I just wanted to make that correlation with this SpaceX shuttle called the Dragon, man. And also, while I was reading this, I picked up how they want to launch on this coming Saturday at 3, it's right there, man, at 3:22 p.m. Eastern time, at 3:22, and that's a straight up Masonic number. Okay, so with that, I hope that was edifying. You know, like I said before, subscribe, you know, hit the notification bell so that you know as soon as I put up a video, for the sake of pushing this word, man, until we get the hell up out of here. So with that, Elder Soccer Run signing off. Shalom.